Hello, great thanks. How are you? Mr. Newlove is here again. Today I want us to look at normal pattern. We did normal pattern in grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. You are going to do normal pattern grade 11, grade 12. The link. So if you are in grade 11 and grade 12, this should be a revision for you. Okay. Now, there is only one God. In earlier grade, you saw pattern in the form of pictures and numbers. In this chapter, we will learn more about mathematics of pattern. Patterns are repetitive sequence and can be found in nature, shape, events, sets of numbers, and almost everywhere you care to look. For example, seed in a sunflower, snowflakes, tiles, all this one can show pattern. We use normal pattern and sequence interchangeably. So if you hear sequence, is the same as normal pattern. Alright. So a sequence is an ordered list of items, usually numbers. It can also be pictures, because when you have pictures, you can convert it to numbers. I'll show you as we progress or as we proceed in our section. Each item which makes up a sequence is called term.
Never think your Lord thy God is gone. It's close to you. It's up to you to believe it.
Okay. Now look at this sequence. You see that it's in numbers. Today we'll talk about numbers. Another time we'll talk about pictures, where you can convert it to numbers. Okay, so here, if you have numbers like this, the first number is the first term. The second number is the second term. The third number is the third term. The fourth number is the fourth term. The 3 dots means that the sequence continues forever. It means it continues. So 2, 4, 6, 8. What do you think will be the next one? 10, and it continues like that. Okay. We have different types of sequence, but we will only consider first 3. We have linear. Another name for linear is arithmetic. We use this term mainly in grade 11 and 12. So linear pattern is the same as arithmetic pattern. Then geometric or exponential pattern is also the same. Then quadratic pattern. We also have cube numbers. We have triangular numbers, Fibonacci numbers. But we are not going to talk about this one. We will dwell on the 3. But today on this video, we'll look at only linear pattern. Okay.
There is only one Father who really loves you.
Now,
there is only one God who really cares for you. There is only one Father.
So, what is linear pattern?
Forget about what people say. The principles.
When you hear of linear, it's talking about line, straight line. So any pattern that can form a straight line is a linear pattern. And normally it has a first common difference. We call it D. What do I mean by common difference? When you subtract the second term from the first term, should be the same as when you subtract the third term from the second term. In other words, when you subtract the second term from, or the first term from the second term, it should be the same as subtracting the second term from the first term. All right, we will do example and you will see what I'm trying to say. Okay, there are different methods of solving this, and I want us to stick to this one. This one, when you master this, you are going to take this one to grade 12. So I want you to start mastering this one so that it doesn't become something new when you reach grade 11 and grade 12. Okay. When you get to grade 12, we are going to prove this, but in grade 11, the grade 10, we are not going to, we just use the formula. Now the formula is Tn is equals to A plus n minus 1b. There are other formulas, there are other methods of solving this. I said I want us to stick to this one. Okay, the A represents the first term, the n represents the number of terms.
You need to do your part two.
Okay. Now let me get to where I want to be. Okay. I want us to look at an example. I'm leaving this one at the top so that we make use of the formula. We are interested with this formula. Now you have this question. The question says, given this sequence 1, 3, 5, and 7, determine the next term. Now, to determine the next term, the question is what was done to this 1 to get this 3, you add 2. What was done to this 3 to get this 5, you add 2. What was done to this 5 to get this 7, you add 2. But what do you think will be the next one? You have to add 2 to this 7 to get the next number. In other words, we need to get a common difference. So it's 7 minus 5, which is 2. 5 minus 3, which is 2. 3 minus 1, which is 2. So it means it must have a common difference. So this side must also be 2. How did we get this 3? It's 1 plus 2. 3. How did we get this 5? 3 plus 2. 5. How did we get this 7? 5 plus 2. 7. So what will be the next term? 7 plus 2, which will give you 9. Are we together? So our next term is 7 plus 2. Our next term is 7 plus 2, which gives us the next term, which is 9. Alright. Okay. Now the next question says, write a conjecture. When we say conjecture, we are talking about describing the pattern. Describing the pattern. But how are you going to describe the pattern? Let's go back to the pattern. This is the pattern. Alright. So how are you going to describe the pattern? What was done to this 1 to get this 3? You add 2. What was done to this 3 to get this 5? You add 2. What was done to this 5 to get this 7? You add 2. Which means 2 is added to the previous term to get the next term. 2 is added to the previous term to get the next term. Alright, so you add 2 to the previous term, this is the previous term, to get the next term. 2 is added to the previous term to get the next term. That's the description of the pattern. So the term is what? Conjecture. Okay, the next question says, determine the nth term. Find the nth term. Sometimes you may have the question this way. Determine the general formula. Is the same thing. Determine the nth term. Determine the mth term. The kth term. Hello? Okay, so let me go back to that side. So we said here is 2 is added to the previous term to get the next term, because how did you get this term? You add 2 to 1 to get 3. How did you get 5? You add 2 to 3 to get 5. So this is the previous term. You add 2 to the previous term to get the next term. So that is the conjecture. So we also said conjecture is the description of the pattern, how you describe the pattern, what you see about a pattern. So let's look at the next question. It says find the nth term, and nth term is the same as finding the general formula for the pattern. Finding the general formula. Sometimes they can say find the kth term, the mth term, the pth term. All of them are the same. What formula can generate a pattern? What formula can make the pattern? Is the same thing. All right. Okay, now we are going to use our formula. Our A is 1. Our D is what? 2, the common difference. A is the first term and D is the common difference. Then so we use the formula. Our A is 1, which is the first term. Our N times D. D is multiplying everything in the bracket, so D is what? 2. So you multiply 2n times 2 minus n. So we have 1 plus n times 2 is going to give you 2n, minus 1 times 2 will give you minus 2. So our formula is going to be 2n. We have 1 minus 2. These are like terms. So it's going to be 1 minus 2, which is minus 1. The next question says, find the sixth term. Find the sixth term. How are you going to find the sixth term? It's easy. We know here if we add 2, we are going to get 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be the 4. You add 2 again. We are going to get 9 plus 2, which is what? 11. All right. Then you add 2 again. 11 plus 2, which is what? 13. Okay, what if the number is big? Good. If the number is big, you can use the formula. How are you going to use the formula? Remember, the formula is this one. 2n minus 1. 2n minus 1. So let's stick to the formula here. So this is our formula. We are using this formula. Okay. So they want us to find the sixth term. How are you going to find the sixth term? The sixth term, it means n is equals to what? 6. So you substitute it into the formula. So when you see n, put 6 there. So 2n, it means 2 times n. Bracket means times. So to find the sixth term is going to be 2 times 6 minus 1, which is going to give you 11. That's the sixth term. Then If you are told to find the 30th term, you do the same thing. It's going to be 2. You use the formula 2 to bracket n is what? 30 minus 1. So this one gives you 59. Then the next question says, which term
There is only one Father who really
in the sequence is equals to 99? Which term in the sequence is equals to 99? That's the question. How are you going to answer this one? Which term in the sequence? So this one, they are asking you to find n, because n represents the number of n. So they want the number of term that gives you the value 99. Alright, so here what you need to do is, our number of term Tn is what? 99 should be equal to 2n minus 1. Then you transpose minus 1 plus 1 give you, if you transpose this minus 1, is going to give you plus 1. So 99 plus 1 will give you 100. Then you divide both sides by 2. If you divide both sides by 2, you are going to get what? 50. So that is the 50th term. N is 50, so that is 50th term. Let's look at the next question.
Your Lord thy God is gone. It's close to you. It's up to you to believe it. It's next to you. It's up to you to imagine. Speak to yourself. Things about love.
The next question is a homework for you. Try it in the house.
From your door. You are not born to suffer.
Let me bring it down here. So you pause the video and you
Good things need to come from your mouth.
write this one, giving the pattern 0, 5, 10. Determine the next term. Find the nth term or the general formula. Determine the 35th term. Describe the pattern. What do I mean by describe the pattern? Write a conjecture. Write a conjecture. Then, which term in the sequence is equals to 300? Which term in the sequence is equals to 300? Okay. Now, let's look at example 2. Example 2 is also like this. Remember I said this one we are not looking at pictures, we are looking at numbers now. Alright. So this one also is, we have these numbers and the question says determine the next term. How do you determine the next term? Always start from the last one, the last term. So 15 minus 19 will give you negative 4. 19 minus 23 will give you negative 4. So definitely the number here minus this will also give you negative 4. Alright, so it means, how did you get this 19? It's 23 plus negative 4. So we can get the next term, which I'm going to show you.
People say the principles of this world are not bound to you.
Okay, so our next term, how did you get this 15? Is 19 plus negative 4, which will give us 15. So the next term is going to be 15 plus negative 4. 15 plus negative 4, which will give you 11. Okay. Our next question says, determine the general term. Determine the general term. You are familiar with this. I said sometimes instead of saying the nth term, we can say the general term. Determine the formula. All of them are the same. So we want to determine the general term. How do you determine the general term?
Think that everybody is gone. Never think, never worry, never think your Lord.
Let's see. You use the formula. What is the formula? A plus n minus 1 b. Substitute. Your A is 23. How did you get that? Your first term in the question was 23. So A is 23 plus n minus 1. Your D is minus 4. So you substitute it into the formula. When you are done, you need to expand. So you have 23. Then if you expand this one, you are going to get n times minus 4 will give you minus 4n. Then minus 1 times minus 4 will give you plus 4. Let me show you how to press this on the calculator. If I want to press minus 1 times minus 4. Minus times minus will give you a positive number. So you have what? Plus 4 here. Okay. Then 23 plus 4, they are like terms, so you can add and subtract like terms. So 23 plus 4 will give you 27 minus 4n. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is calculate the 20th term. So Tn is equals to 27 minus 4n. 27 minus 4n. How is it going to be?
Cares for you. Don't be thinking about two cares. Don't be thinking about your caretaker. There is only.
Okay, so to calculate the 20th term, when you see n, you put 20 there. Remember, we cannot add minus 4 up to the 20th time. No. You can just use the formula to solve it easily. So what you need to do is you substitute where you see n, you substitute 20. So you have 27 minus 4. Instead of writing n, you write what? 20. So we are going to simplify this one. How do you press this on the calculator? You are going to have 27 minus 4, 20, with the bracket, and this one gives you minus 53. So we have minus 53 as our answer. Okay. Then the next question. Which term in the pattern is equals to minus 75? This one, you do it yourself. Alright, I've done one example at the top there. So you do this one yourself. Then you also solve this past question for me.
Things about love, victory, riches, and many more negativity.
Consider the linear sequence. This. Write down the value of b. So the sequence is 5, 8, 11, b, 17. You write down the value of b.
Finish his part. You need to do your part too.
Then you determine the nth term of the sequence. Then calculate the value of the 15th term. Determine the value of the nth term. Then you calculate the value of the 15th term. the sequence. Then the last one, which term in the sequence is equal to 83? Good.
Don't be thinking about who cares. Don't be thinking about who cares for you. Don't be thinking about
Now,
don't be thinking about your caretaker. Don't be thinking about who cares.
this one,
Don't be thinking about who cares. Don't be thinking about your care.
I'm taking this one out. This one is the one for the previous one. So we are going to say bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.